Hey guys, Zach here, coming at you with another vid tonight. From the title and from what I have in front of me, you can see it's the Leatherman OHT. It's a new offering from Leatherman. I've been waiting for this thing for probably about a year now, and just really wanted to get a hold of this. You can see I have at least these 4 multi-tools, and I have 2 or 3 others scattered all over the place in the garage and in the Jeep and all over the place. So I just want to talk about my initial impressions on this OHT and what I thought of it. It's about a $70 multi-tool right off the top. If you find it any cheaper than $70 and you're looking for picking one up, I'd say go ahead and do it, and that's a pretty good deal. Comes in brown, comes in black. They advertise that it has 16 tools. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. The brown, or I shouldn't say brown, the tan one here is Cerakote covered. Supposedly it's fully stainless. All of the components and everything are stainless, and the bladed tools are 420 HC, I believe. Alright, so I just got a couple of other ones out on the table here just for size comparison. You can see here's your, this is considered a full-size multi-tool. Here's your Gerber Octane, which I kind of consider a mid-size. I'll hold them together. You see the Octane's a bit smaller. Side to side, the Octane's also much more thin, but it's definitely a lower end one-hand offering. So I guess since Gerber is kind of their exclusive rights on the one-hand opening feature is up now, Leatherman wanted to jump in the market and give us a Leatherman version of the one-hand tool. So here it is. Been waiting for it forever, like I said. Right away, a couple of the things that stood out to me about this tool that I liked was all of the tools are fully accessible from the outside of the tool. So you have 4 tools on each side, and they're all fully accessible from the outside. So let's just walk over the tools here. You've got your seat belt, or rescue cutter, rope cutter, whatever you want to use it for. This little hole here is for oxygen bottles, wrench, oxygen tool wrench. You've got your Phillips. You've got your small, regular flathead. You've got yourself a serrated sheep's foot. Flip it over without cutting myself. You've got a larger flathead. You've got a small, just a small non-serrated blade. And one thing to note right off the top is this is probably one of the smaller blades that Leatherman has put on a tool. So I know some people have kind of been criticizing that the standard blade is pretty small. If we go ahead and compare it to the, let's compare it to the Skella tool here, you'll see, I'm going to get it up on the camera, close the sheep's foot. You see that it's just a little bit smaller. I mean, it's not quite as wide, a little bit shorter, but it's just a plain edge there. So it has a small blade. Definitely has a smaller blade than the Mutt. Alright. Another cool feature about it is that all of the tools have a liner lock. So even on the Mutt, some of the tools don't have a liner lock. This thing, every single tool has a liner lock. So that's pretty sweet. That's a sweet little feature that you don't find every day on multi-tools. Not the easiest to open and close. They're pretty stiff, but I imagine they'll wear in a little bit with use. Okay, and again, it's a one-hand opener, so smack my light. Yeah, you gotta snap it right open there. It's harder to do on camera, but it does actually flick open pretty easily with one hand, and you can also press it here and close it with one hand. So open. The jaws the pliers are spring assisted, which I know the Leatherman has in some of their newer ones. I think the Wave or the Sidekick are both spring op plier jaws, which is sweet. I mean, some of the plier manufacturers have been, for regular tools, have been doing that forever. And once you have it, you really want it, on your pliers. So that's pretty cool. Not quite as stiff as the Wave and the Sidekick are, but you really don't need it to be much stiffer, than what it is. You just need it to open up. You don't need it to force your hands apart. Another cool feature, the jaws on the pliers, the wire cutter jaws there, the cutters, they're replaceable. From my understanding is they're 154 cm, fully replaceable. You notice that you could take it all apart. You know, it's held together with these 4 Torx screws, so you could take out all the tools if you need to. I imagine you can replace them if you break any of them. So there's your general overview of the tool itself. Now let's talk about things I don't like about it right off the bat. First off, I got this guy at Cabela's, and every one of them that I saw in the package, the tan looked like it was dirty, like some oily fingers had been all over it already. And I don't know if I'll be able to zoom in on the camera here to show you what I'm talking about, but let me just back up just a scotch. You see that, like right in here, how there's cleaner areas all around the indents, and here on the saw. And this is after me rubbing on it and trying to clean it up a little bit. So I thought that maybe it was just like Leatherman was trying to do some kind of a distress look on the tan. But once I got it out of the package, and you know, I quickly found out that it's just friggin' dirty. You know, just poor quality control on getting it clean. You can see right here, it's just dirty. It's like dirt hands have already gotten all over it. You know, I mean, obviously I'm going to get it dirty, but I want it to be clean when I get it out of the box. All right, so that was a major criticism for me right away. I actually called Leatherman to tell him that it was pretty unsatisfactory. They didn't really have much to say about it. They just said, "Oh, okay, thanks for telling me." You notice here on the black coatings, specifically on the pliers, that anywhere that wasn't that is an outer that is captured underneath the scales on the sides here, the black coating is just shit. It's just totally shitty. I mean, look at that. That's right out of the box. Not used at all. And on this side, you can see that this thing is actually pitted. I mean, it's already pitted. I mean, it's not going to really affect the function of it at all, but you know, come on, get your quality control right. You see some pitting here on the plier jaws as well, and the finish. And the finish is the same on the tools. Now, you know, I own a lot of different Leathermans, and they all come pretty oily out of the box. I've always just been able to wipe them clean and be fine with them. This, whatever's on here, seems to be baked on here. It's going to take some scrubbing to get it off. So I wanted to show that before I went ahead and tried to clean it up. Just that, and it appeared to me that all the ones on the shelf at Cabela's were like that. The black ones looked fairly clean, but all the tan ones looked dirty, and that's no good. I think I failed to point out that there also is a can opener. Okay, now, you know, don't get caught up in the hype when you're buying a leather tool, a Leatherman or any multi-tool, with the amount of tools they say the multi-tool has. You know, this one is advertised as having 16 tools. Well, the jaws, they count as like 4 tools. Okay, you got your needle nose plier, your regular plier, your wire cutter, and your stripper. You know, so really, to me, that's 1 tool. You don't need to try and oversell me and tell me it has 4 tools. It's really 1 tool. So for all intents and purposes, this thing has, for me, in my opinion, it has 9 tools. You've got 4 on each side, and you've got the jaws. Which brings me to the jaws. They're actually pretty precise. You get a nice, you know, you get nice grip on here. You can get a pretty good pinch on the needle nose. They're really finely precise. So good job on the actual jaws themselves. The strippers, again, being replaceable is cool. You do get a little bit of wiggle, you know, at this anchorage point here, this little pivot, which I haven't found a one-hand tool that doesn't have that. Here's your Gerber Octane. You know, you get the same wiggle there, which is one of the downsides to a one-hand tool to begin with. They're just not as rigid. This one feels more robust than any of the Gerber ones that I've had, but again, it's still, you know, is it perfect? No, it's not. All right, let's zoom in here to the scales and point out something else. You kind of get a cheap feel when you're looking here. Let me back it off just a bit. We're going to get it to focus. You'll see that it's the pivot piece here. The only part that you can't take apart on it is this little pivot, and it's held together by these 2 kind of cheap looking rivets. Now, only time's going to tell if that's going to hold up there or not, but if there was a place that this could fail, I would say that would be one of the places. You'll also notice that if I get it turned on the side, that these side plates are actually really thin. They're much thinner than, you know, what you find on your Skeletal or your Mutt or any of the other Leathermans that I have. So if you drop this thing on the ground, on the concrete, you're probably going to bend these over. If you drop it, you know, on any of these sides weird, you're going to bend it over and make your tool get stuck. You know, so, you know, they're trying to save, maybe try to save some weight. And by the way, this thing's about 10 ounces. Just under 10 ounces. So it's a good, decent weight for a multi-tool, but, you know, what are you saving? What are you saving by making these thin? You know, I don't know. Charge me a couple bucks for me. Charge me a couple bucks more and give me a quality product. I would happily pay $100 for it if it was built a little bit better. So there you go. The last thing I want to point out is that I guess if you're a little bit slow, that all of the tools are actually imprinted on the outside of the handle scale, so you know where they are. Obviously, there's your saw, can opener, flathead, fixed blade, or not your fixed blade, but your small folding blade, you know, your cutter. It shows them all on the outside, so, you know, maybe if you're blind and you need to read Braille, you could pick that up. I don't know. But one other thing you want to note, or maybe a couple other things, they have a little screw hole here that accepts, I think it's 8 32 thread cleaning rods for firearms. Will just thread right into there, so you can use this, you know, as your leverage point. It doesn't come with one, but it has that option. And also, when the jaws are actually closed, if you turn this little tab here, you can lock them closed, keep them from sliding out. Alright, so in a nutshell, that's your OHT. It's, the finish on it is a C, C minus to me. I mean, I want it to be much better than this out of the box. Even for 70 bucks, I want it to be, you know, clean and not have all these finish imperfections and stuff on it. Overall, I haven't used it yet. I just got it today. I think the tools will hold up fine. If you're looking for a real robust multi-tool, this isn't it. Spend the extra money, like I always say. Get the Mutt, get any of the other higher end Leathermans will probably serve you better. This is kind of a novelty multi-tool. You know, for somebody that's putting hard use on a multi-tool, it's hit and miss. You know, for as excited, as much hype was surrounding it, I think it's kind of a miss. But there you go. One last thing, we'll take a look at the Sheath. The Sheath 2, you know, it's, you know, made in China nylon. Not nearly as good as you know, the Mutt Sheath. Not nearly as good. Kind of more flimsy. Both of them are Molly compatible and belt loop compatible. But little Sheath is not normal Leatherman quality. And I do believe this one's made in the U.S. This isn't, you know, a Taiwanese one or anything like that. So I'm really curious as to why the quality control on this thing seems so lacking. Anyway, that's all I had to say about it. Probably a little long-winded again, but you know what? Take it or leave it. Talk to you later, guys. Bye.